from the start, I always knew I wanted to work in a rural or remote community. It's because I come from a remote community. I'm Cree from Chisasibi, Northern Quebec, and grew up part of my childhood in Northern Ontario in a mining town. And I really love that lifestyle, being outdoors and knowing the people well, different families. And I wanted to have that lifestyle when I finished my training. When I first started practice, I was doing a locum in a Northern Ontario community, and I was doing a night shift in the emergency department. And it turned out at the beginning of the shift, I started to receive some serious cases of patients with significant medical symptoms. And one of them was having a heart attack or myocardial infarction that needed clot busting medication. And despite that medication, he continued to have symptoms of significant chest pain. And in the meantime, I tried to get him medevaced to the nearest cardiac center, which is in a larger city, some hours away. So despite that, I couldn't get him out right away. So I had to manage him, and I even had to call a specialist to help me with that case. I received another trauma case of a young miner who got injured down below in the mine, and had to manage his case with head trauma and get him medevaced out. And then in the meantime, I'm managing cases in the minor area where people came with minor complaints. So it was a busy merge shift, but I realized after all the training I did in residency in a rural family medicine program that I was very capable of handling both the serious cases and the minor cases and get those serious patients out to where they needed to be. And that's when I realized, yes, I'm well trained and I love this work. As women in medicine, I think it's really important to consider that we also take care of our families. We take care of children, of parents, and we take care of the house. Plus, we got to go to work, and we have very demanding jobs, not only clinical work, but also administrative responsibilities. So we try to balance that, and sometimes it's very difficult. And what's the priority? What's the top priority? Well, most women will say it's our families, and for sure, but sometimes out of necessity, you have to cover the emerge, you have to arrange a medevac, you have to provide services at the clinics. So it's really difficult at times to manage that. How can we make that better? We need to either train more physicians to help us and hire them to come and work in our communities, or find a way to give more time so we become resilient and be able to carry on our work both at home and in our workplace. For women medical students and residents, this is a busy time when we're studying and getting our clinical experience and then writing exams. It's important to plan and keep care of yourself during those times so you can be successful. But once you're out in practice, it's another story. You're now suddenly full of responsibility and accountable for your patients and responsible to collaborate with your medical team and the healthcare team. So it's an important transition. And one of the ways that I find this transition was easier was to seek out those opportunities in med school and residency to prepare yourself for rural practice, getting those extra clinical rotations such as emergency care or doing deliveries that will help you eventually as you practice in a rural community. For those women who are just starting practice, it's important to keep your time organized for work, obviously, but also make time for yourself. I think it's important to balance, your work life, keep fit, eat well, and sleep well. But of course, it's hard sometimes when you're doing night shifts in emergency department. Later on in the career, we can choose a little bit more what we're doing in our practice, whether it's outpatient clinic or emerge or inpatient care, to find a nice way to serve your patients in the community, but also sometimes it takes you out of the office, like doing home care. It's not as busy as emergency, but it's just as rewarding. And then later in life and in our careers, we can slow down a little bit and take advantage of some opportunities like teaching or mentoring other women, supporting each other to get through every workday, and also make ourselves available for peer support. I find these conferences at the SRPC are very rewarding because this is my chance to get support, give support, and be with my people, like-minded women physicians who do it all.